Good evening, everyone. And today I'm really happy to share with you our project, the bank marketing campaign analysis. First of all, please allow me to introduce our team. And I'm Richard, I'm the team leader, and I'm also working, doing marketing job now. And next is my teammate, Yan. Yan, please introduce yourself.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm Yan. I just graduated from University of Tasmania.
Okay, and also Grace is our tutor for this project. Thank you, Grace. And now let's look at our project background. So a Portuguese background has been suffering a revenue decline. So they found that their client not deposit as frequently as before. So they want to identify the existing client that which kinds of clients have are more likely to subscribe a term deposit. So in order to answer this business question, which we follow this analysis process from setting the business goals to model evaluation. And here we want to achieve two goals. And number one, we want to find the main characteristics of the client who are most likely to place a deposit. And number two, we want to create a classification model to predict whether the client will place a deposit. And now let's look at our data set. So our data set includes 5 categories. The first one is the bank client data information like their age, job, and marital status, and so on. And we also have some details related to the current and previous campaigns, like the contact type and the number of contacts during this campaign or in the previous campaign. And also we have some economic index that reflects the economic situation. And the last one is the most important variable. That's our desired target. And that's a binary variable. Yes means the client will place a deposit in the bank, and no means that the client will not place deposit. And before analysis, we need to do some data cleaning and pre-processing. So we find 5 problems we need to deal with. The first one is missing value. We drop or fill some unknown values in the data set based on the columns they are in. And we also find some duplicate values in the data set, and we drop the duplicate values. And the third one is outliers. And we draw some box plot and drop the outliers. And the fourth one is the binary data. So in the columns that contains binary data, yes or no, we transform the data into 0 and 1. And the last one and the most interesting one, I will tell later. Now here is a quick question. So these 2 people, so can you guess who will more likely to place deposit? Is it Jack? Jack is a 50-year-old self-employed divorce designer. Or Tom. Tom is a 20-year-old single university student. If you don't know the answer, don't worry. The visualization part will show you the answer. So in the visualization part, instead of using the number of people, I find it's easier to compare the conversion rate. That is, I use the number of the yes client divided by the total client, the number of total client. And if you look at the pie chart, we can see that of all the clients, the married people have a higher conversion rate than single and divorced people. And if you look at the conversion rate by age and the marital status, and you can see that the young single people have a conversion rate of 0.4. And also the divorced people in their age between 50 and 60 only have the conversion rate 0.02. So remember the two people I mentioned just now, a 20-year-old university student that belongs to this area. So he has a conversion rate of 0.4, and Jack, the divorced self-employed designer, has a conversion rate of 0.02. So we can say that Tom is more likely to place the deposit than Jack. And also, if you look at the conversion rate by jobs, we can see that the students group and the retired people have higher conversion rate than other job groups. So for the bank, they are the key client that we can organize some marketing campaigns targeted to these two groups. And in the next part, from the campaign data, we can find the insight is if a client has been contacted over 12 times or over 33 minutes, then the client is less likely to subscribe a term deposit. So the charts and the dashboards summarize the profiles of our existing client and the client with simple characteristics. So how do we deal with our future clients or the clients with complex features? So it's time to build an AI model. So before building the model, you still remember the till later part in the data pre-processing? Now let me show you. So the last data pre-processing problem is we need to deal with the imbalanced data. So actually, we need to deal with the imbalanced data because as you can see, the yes client is only account for 11% of the data set, and the majority of the client will not deposit. So if we train a model with the original data set, so it may get biased. So that may cause the result not reliable. So we use the technique called SMOTE to make the imbalanced data balanced. So if we explain it in a simple word, SMOTE can add duplicate records of the minority class, but do not add any new information to the model. For example, if you look at the picture here, we have an imbalanced data, cats and dogs. And if we want to use SMOTE to make it balance, here is the oversampling technique. We duplicate some data here and make the data balanced. And after using the SMOTE method, you can see that the data is balanced. And now let's welcome Yan to introduce the random forest model.
Okay, random forest is an upgraded version of decision tree. The random output result of the forest is determined by voting. If most of the decision tree test data is one result, then we think it is that result. Let's take a training data set composed of various fruits as an example. Random forest classifier divides this data set into subsets. These subsets are assigned to each decision tree in the random forest system. Each decision tree will produce its specific output. For example, the prediction for tree 1 and tree 2 is apple. Another decision tree N has predicted the banana as the result. The random forest classifier collects the majority vote to provide the final prediction. Most decision trees choose apple as their prediction. This makes the classifier choose apple as the final prediction. Next, please welcome Richard to share other model.
And the other model we use in this project is called K-nearest neighbors. So it's a model works by finding the distance between an object and all examples. For example, if you look at the picture on the right side, and here we have an object, we want to know it is an apple or a pear, then we set the parameter K, choose its K closest neighbors. So for example, if we set K as 3, then it will choose its 3 nearest neighbors. And as you can see, if we choose K at 3, there's 1 apple and 2 pear, and the object will be labeled as pear. So here's the basic information of the models. And then we train our model and to calculate the accuracy of the model. And the models we use are decision trees, random forest, and KNN. And from the result calculated, we can see that the accuracy of the decision tree model is 83.1%, and for the random forest is 87.4%, and for the KNN model is 0.1%. And also we use model tuning to find the best number of KNN neighbors, and we found that if we choose 18 neighbors, and the model have the best result, which is 0.906. So here are some key takeaways for today from the exploratory analysis in the dataset. We know that young people, especially aged between 20 to 30, and students, as well as retired people or people who aged over 60, our key client, are more likely to place a term deposit. So our suggestion is we focus on those 2 groups and create campaigns for each of them. And another insight is that we found if a client has been contacted for over 12 times or over 33 minutes, then the client is less likely to subscribe a term deposit. So our suggestion is the call center staff can use these key findings as a guidance to screen the client and improve their efficiency. And the last takeaway is AI models provide an accurate and time-saving method to predict the target client. Then we can use these to arrange some marketing campaigns, and the marketing campaigns can be tailored to a certain group of clients. That's our presentation. Thank you.
So thank you, team Dataemon. I can definitely tell from your slides that from the presentation that I don't follow into this marketing campaign category. I'm not either in the 20s or the retired. So thank you very much for that. And I'm just wondering to say, yeah, Sally actually got a question over here. So question to you guys. So about like the cleansing and the pre-processing of your data. So how do you know that the duplicated values you dropped are the actual duplications rather than a client deposit multiple times? How do you decide around those dupes? I think at a very early stage of your presentation, you mentioned that you've done some kind of like a data cleansing and you dropped some duplications. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we set select some duplicate values from the data set, and we found that actually all these records are the same in all columns. So we found that's a duplicate. So if a client deposits multiple times, then then maybe at least one attribute may be different. So if the data in all the columns are the same, so we can define it as a duplicate.
Cool. And I've got another question. So what factors lead you to choose the AI model? Can you explain?
Okay, yeah, I can share my screen again. Yeah, can you see my screen?
No.
Let me share it again. Yeah, the model selection here, we do some research online, and we found that here's we want to do a classification problem, and for the classification and to do the classification problem, here are some models suitable for this problem. So like KNN, decision trees, logistic regression. So we choose some of them to build the model. Yeah.
And one last question from Jay is, does your data modeling only take the conversion rate, for example, like term deposit account openings into account, or the size of the term deposit? So for example, like the value of the term deposit, or another way to put it, does your data modeling only take the conversion rate into account or the size of the term deposit? If the client is looking for the latter, can this data modeling take the term deposit size into account as well?
Yeah, in our analysis, we just consider the client data and also the campaign data, because in our data set we have no information about the balance of the bank account of the client. So we will not do the detailed analysis about the balance of the bank account. Yeah.
Cool. I think that's probably all the questions that we can take just for now. I'm conscious of time. We are definitely going to run over, and hope everyone can still stay on this showcase, spend a few more minutes of your time. And thanks very much for Dataemon.